degrees and dropping. Pretty chilly for our area. So, if it rains and it goes below 32, will we get snow? It happens every blue moon. In the greater vines of where I live. It's cool though. It really is. So I'm assuming it's probably loading in day 78 again. It does that sometimes, I notice, for like the saving systems where it takes a little bit longer. I mean, it's an indie game, so I'm assuming that like there's a lot of massive stuff being loaded in the very beginning. Cool thing is it left off exactly where it was at. Alright, there we go. Sounds about right. Huh. So much shit has happened. He chronologues all of it in notes. Well, no time like the present. Starting to get the headset dialed in. It took me a second to realize what it does. Like when you utilize some of the other ones where it blends in the voice. If you're in like, chats with friends and stuff. Pretty neato though. Like it's, personally in my opinion, a little bit better than the way that they do it on Turtle Beach. I like the way that they do it in the setup that it is on the Stealth 500s, but this just seems a little bit more like, I don't know, it just seems easier and sounds better. Alright, so that's nothing to us. Ooh, we can do combinations. Explore the cave. Well, that's easy. We're here. Cave is north. The things look so cool. Like I feel like we're hunting for like a Slimer or some shit like that. Where's he gone? So cool thing about this is like the environment's really easy to navigate through. It's nothing where it's like super crazy, where you have to like kind of like follow a super linear path. It's semi-linear, and I emphasize lightly semi. But for the most part, it is kind of a little bit open sandbox when you go into these environments. And I do like that, and a lot of the commentary I've been listening to as we've been going through the Firewatch auditorial version of it is that you get to see the portions of where the developers really gave more detail of where the story was developing, and I like that. That was really freaking cool. Understanding like more parts. But day 78 is pretty quick if I remember correct. Cave, we start exploring. Now we could go down that way, but that's not the cool way. Cool way is jumping down. Can't break a leg. Have good luck with that, right?
Hey, you didn't actually make that call, right? To be on the lookout.
You're freaking the fuck out.
I let myself imagine how fucked I would be if you'd been lying to me.
Your fate is in my hands.
I don't even know how to call anyone other than you. And please, rest assured, I would have found someone with a better sense of humor a long time ago.
Okay. Thanks.
Way to be an asshole and save the day. I like your style, sir. Light on. Cool. Now, who's the boss, bitch? Ooh, audio tape.
Something I like that came on a little later in development that you did, Nels, here is we are without the radio, and I like how that feels across like the broad swath of the game. I think it's really cool to not just be alone. But there are these sort of reflexive Henry comments to himself based on things you're looking at, and the way that they're seen throughout here are really nice. Player, I don't know if you've seen this, but when you're walking
He got locked in the fucking
sort of
cave.
the upper level of the
So
cave,
good.
you can look down and to the right, and you can see Brian Goodwin's shoe. And when you sort of like zoom in on that, Henry will just call out to someone if is someone down there, is someone in the cave. And Nell sort of like concocted that and put them all in the game, and we wrote some lines that worked for it, and they're not all over the place, but I really like the way it made the cave feel.
Yeah, it's actually
Definitely
kind of
came to life the first time I played it.
in terms of Henry's monologue too, because we conceivably, even though Delilah can't hear you, like we could have hooked up the same normal radio interaction to where it'd be like you could make these dialogue choices and Henry just either monologues to himself or like talks into the radio, even though we know Delilah can't hear him. But I don't remember. I might just like tried it on a whim. Maybe someone suggested it. I don't exactly remember. But just having those play automatically when you've been looking at a specific
This seems so safe.
area of the cave for like anywhere between like half a second to 2 seconds, and then those kind of monologue moments show up, or when you perform a specific action like zooming, it feels very natural in a way that like little kind of auto monologue lines in games often don't. There's like a couple in the upper level of the cave and then a couple more down near the bottom when you actually find Brian's body. It was kind of a bummer that they came online so late.
Yeah.
And there aren't any other spots in the game where Henry doesn't have access to the radio, because I actually would have loved to have a few more of these in the game somewhere as well.
Seriously.
You're always thinking about like what
Radio silence
design
is great.
tools do I have to like change the pace or make you feel something different. And I don't think we realized they were a club. We
Dude,
had in
those
our
are some
bag
nice
until we
kicks.
sort of like laid the whole game before us, and we went like, oh,
Yeah.
we really like these. Oh,
I know.
And Rich did such a good job performing them. It was just, yeah, they really worked for me in the game.
Yeah, they're quite good.
Ooh.
Hi, it's Jane again.
Fucking Jane.
Me, Jake. Hi.
So the way we work usually is that Jake will do a lot of the level design with gray boxing, and the cave is no different.
That's true. The cave is no different in that regard, but it is different in that it's ridiculous. Like the cave, Firewatch usually, when you're building it, you only have to worry about the floor, whereas the cave is a completely contained area. Like it's it's a cave, and I really wanted to take advantage of that, perhaps to an excessive degree. Like I really wanted the cave to feel like this snaking labyrinth that wove in and out of itself, and that you could see areas you were going to get to later from places you weren't at yet and stuff.
Oh,
but
that's
I had no
cool.
idea if it would actually be allowed to exist inside of the rules of Firewatch until I handed it to you.
Well, the interesting thing about this cave is that, like, for example, this hole where the shoe is, you can actually see all the way down to where the body is.
Yeah, you can't
It's
quite
all
see the body because
interconnected,
you can't lean far enough in. But yeah,
But the spaces all are actually connected in a way that makes sense.
the cave is also actually exceptional in that I think it's the only place in Firewatch where we cheat space.
Yes.
There's a couple places in the cave where you drop off a ledge, and in the middle of Henry's drop animation, we just cut the camera and like blink you to another area that's like a few hundred meters farther away. The cave ended up being so weirdly nested on itself. It ended up being this like compact ball of yarn.
So crazy.
To the point that it didn't.
Delilah was
actually
just
get you
like
all the way to
taking that with a
Brian's
grain of
hideout.
salt.
Yeah. And so like
Good.
to like make the space make sense while not spending too much time making it, we just decided, hey, I guess by cheating it a little, it's okay. And I don't think people actually notice.
It also cuts your travel time down. Like, people were spending a long time walking through it in the early version of the gray box. But
Figuring out how to light the cave, because you know, like video game lighting, yes, but you still have to make sure there are spots opening
She's
up into the
always
sky so
talking
that,
about lighting a cave. Must be her
because we
most
need to make sure
hated
that Henry
thing.
can go through
Like
the
Jane's like, hey, you gotta light a cave. She's like probably
yeah, it's
grumbling
also
under her
nice
breath.
and
You
dramatic to have those little
motherfuckers.
tracks of sunlight coming through. It looks nice. But, like, think about those torches.
Yeah, that's true.
Spike walls.
Or underground lake, how about that?
Ooh.
Almost happened.
Almost made
Don't
that.
tell
I
me
want an
about the
underground lake.
Hey, it's Chris again.
Hey, it's Sean.
The entire Brian Goodwin saga changed absolutely massively, multiple times, really, over the course of the.
Okay, so I'm
design and
gonna
writing
wait
process.
for
There was
them
actually a previous
stop
designer
talking.
vision in which you
to go
as the
down there, because
player,
that's like pretty cool
through just
story-wise.
various
Gives us
means,
a lot
could,
more
like,
about Brian,
trigger
his son,
the discovery
what they
of
did.
the, like, existence of Brian Goodwin much earlier in the game, and we had to allow for like all these different possible branches of when you could find that out and when Delilah would tell you more information and so on and so on. And it became like a nightmarish possibility space that we really had to rein in.
It became just a very unwieldy story.
Yeah.
Inside of that story was the idea that Delilah didn't know who Brian Goodwin was.
Right.
She knew Ned Goodwin. He was a lookout who was out here, but did not know that he was here with a son because it was against the rules, and Ned had broken the rules by bringing his son out here. And from a design side, that was not to mention there's the unwieldy nature of the being able to never find out who he is until the very end, or figuring out that there was a kid in your tower on day one. That was unwieldy. And then, furthermore,
So congratulations,
we
you've
were
adopted a
running out of
kid.
tools to communicate the story of Brian Goodwin, because they were the only thing we had was the discovery of objects.
This environment is really breathtaking, though.
One note and
Yeah,
very
it
like,
felt very like breadcrumby.
exactly
Like, oh, there's all these this information you have to know in this order, so you're gonna find these things in that order, and there were too many of them, and it felt completely contrived.
And this is just a design philosophy. I think this is a good story design philosophy, a good mechanics design philosophy. When something just isn't working, is just ask yourself what happens if the opposite is true. I'll just say, okay, so what are the things that are
That's
true?
good advice.
Delilah didn't know there's a kid in the tower. I was like, well, what if she did? And not only did she did, she liked him. Oh my gosh, well that makes the emotional payload of finding Brian Goodwin like much more intense. And then once we had that, we had another design tool to like communicate about who Brian Goodwin was to you.
And
Well,
that
that's
tool
kinda
was
cool.
The one tool we had for communicating
The emotional breakdown.
And finding something, and Henry going, yeah, we doubled the amount of information we could get to you.
Man, this is such
And
a
it just made
long,
the game
long
much more
fucking,
easy.
like...
It opened up.
I think Chris Ramo is on, like,
story
he
side.
talks for days, it seems like.
Mia's not
But it's really
herself
funny,
that
like,
much
commentary,
craziness
honestly. I kind of
from
like it.
who he was and breadcrumbing you around the world.
And in doing so,
Breadcrumby.
it sort of simplified that total arc and allowed us to pack a lot more information into each of those deliveries. So when you find Brian's backpack, when you find his hideaway, each of those is like very information dense because we just consolidated
Almost
them into
there.
those zones.
And can reference the stuff you've learned along the way. So when you do find him, you actually feel like he's a human being who had a history and a life and a personality and stuff. And I'm really glad we got there.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
we got there late, and you just
Very
don't
late.
know if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You just don't know. We got there August, September-ish of 2015. Game came out in February 2016. So very, very, very late.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember
I just
getting it.
found an outcropping that someone was using as a little fort. I think it was Brian Goodwin.
Really?
Hey, remember that pack I found?
Back on your second day? Yeah.
I found a plan Brian drew about how he was going to get it back.
Oh, I'm sure it was quite elaborate.
It's some wily coyote stuff, I'll tell you that much.
It works, though. The sound. Keeping that for later.
Brian was doing a science fair project about bouncing radio waves off of a meteor shower.
Poor kid left his homework?
Yeah, he must have been pretty smart, huh?
Yeah, sharper than a lot of the grown-up knuckleheads I'm used to, yeah.
That is pretty smart.
What, you're saying I'm one of those knuckleheads, is that it?
I wasn't, but, now that I think about it...
Because I know lots of stuff.
Oh, please, drown me in your surplus of knowledge. I've been waiting all these years for a man as wise as you to take this job.
That wait's
Oh,
over.
snap.
Call me sweetheart again, and you'll use that big sexy brain of yours to fill out your unemployment paperwork.
Oh,
Sorry, boss.
snap.
I found an old school folder. Brian was a hell of a doodler. It's a little weird that he'd just leave so much of his stuff out here.
Well, maybe they were in a hurry when they left. Like I said, he wasn't supposed to be out here.
Yeah.
They almost got busted. Brian liked to go out on the railing of the tower and wave at the planes that dumped water on fires, and... I got a call because someone thought a kid was up in Two Forks. I lied, and just said it was Ned. If I ratted him out, they would have been forced to leave, and... I don't know, I guess I just felt like I was saving him from whatever shitty life Ned was gonna bring him back to. Not that it ended up mattering.
He was in the middle of really sprucing up the joint when they left. Huh. Brian stole his dad's climbing gear. His anchors.
That's convenient.
Yeah, it is. I think he was gonna hide them in a cash box or something and never got around to it. I mean, he left a note for a ranger to find them and send them back to him in Nebraska.
Because he hated climbing?
Yeah, it sounds like Ned was pushing him and pretending to do the easiest way to put a stop to it.
I hope it worked.
There's our anchors.
What an asshole.
Yeah. Man, that is the sort of thing that would have caused me to catch a beating growing up.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put it past old Ned.
Interesting, but wrong. That's maximum voltage. Yes, that definitely is too high. That is one crazy ass radio. What?
There's a busted old toy out here, some sort of electronic game.
Yeah? I like Pong.
Everybody likes Pong.
Gosh, Brian had everything he loved out there.
There's some grade A dork contraband here.
You found his pocket protector?
I found I guess, a data sheet for one Gladius Silva, half-elf, armor 7. There's also a postcard here from Brian to, I guess, his neighbor. A bunch of rocks stacked up. He made a wall and a perimeter.
God. Yeah, that's perfect.
You know, maybe he made it because he was afraid of them.
Whenever I think of Brian possibly going through this crap, I get sick to my stomach.
This is a pretty cool fort, though.
Sorry.
It's a pretty ballin' port. I thought I had one more. Bummer. Oh well. We tried. Wait a minute, I think we can go back in the cave. Hmm. Doesn't seem to be resilient with resolve, so I'm gonna go back the other way. Might have been one of those ones where you can only jump down. Hell yeah. That somehow is gonna hold me, hopefully. Thank goodness Henry laid off that cheeseburger.
What do you think is in there?
There's got to be something. Why else try to kill me? I don't know, really. I mean, we got to find out. What do you think?
Whatever it is, they don't want you telling anyone about.
I mean, they closed
No.
the door when they could have just...
Bashed your head in with a rock or chopped you up with a...
Are you serious with this shit right now?
Watch it. God, are you sure you want to go back in there?
Yeah, especially now that I'm thinking about all the fun ways to be killed.
I'm sorry. Look, at least whoever locked you in doesn't know you've gotten out. Hopefully you find whatever they're hiding in there, and it'll be worth the risk.
Nice.
Hey, it's Patrick and Nels here.
Hello.
You may have just found some role-playing game artifacts owned by Brian Goodwin, and I thought we
I
could
did.
talk about the ways that this character evolved and actually ended up incorporating a lot of elements of our own super nerdy childhoods.
Oh, yes, that's exactly right.
Like Gladius
That
Silva
is
here,
indeed.
it was
Good old Gladius Silva was actually the very first D&D character I ever made in probably grade 8, maybe grade 9. My very first D&D campaign. Some other friends of mine on the speech team, the speech and debate team, asked me to join their game, and I was very enamored that they invited me. So I had to make a cool character. So I made a half-elf ranger, and because I was a giant dorko and taking a Latin class at the time, I named him Gladius Silva, which of course means sword of the forest. And I remember when we were initially talking about, like giving Brian kind of this geeky kid personality to contrast with the fact that he's like out in the middle of the wilderness. And I recounted this anecdote about Gladius Silva. Everybody in the office thought
Such an
it was
elaborate
quite
fucking
hilarious.
joke set up.
And because I had, for my own edification a while back, rescued that character sheet from like my parents' garage and then scanned it, I was able just to send over a PDF of that scanned character sheet, and then it more or less showed up exactly in the game.
yeah. These are probably your original die rolls from that faded first campaign.
Oh, it was modified just the tiniest bit to like avoid Wizards of the
He was
Coast,
rolling dead
Dungeons and
critical
Dragons
fails.
copyright. Otherwise, that is literally just
Yeah.
my dude. My favorite thing about Brian's proclivity for tabletop RPGs is in Henry's Tower in Two Forks, you can actually find a map that Brian made that's basically like a D&D-ification of the whole area that you're normally in.
Yeah, I ended up drawing
Yeah,
that.
I know where this is going, and that's pretty
completely
cool.
Based on my own style of drawing when I was Brian's age, and Nels' age, when he was Gladius Silva. I was a city kid who moved to a more like suburban, like woodsy area at that age in my life, and I was so shocked to have all this like actual like woodsy terrain around me that I started mapping it with pencil and paper and drawing little legends just like Brian did, kind of turning the area into more of a mythical landscape. So as soon as this character had gelled, I knew that he would see Two Forks this way, and that cash boxes
Alright,
would
sweet,
be
this is
treasure
where I need to
chests,
go.
and the Boy Scout camp would be a halfling village, and so it kind of just wrote itself.
Yeah, totally. That is our tiny tidbit of geek history in Firewatch by way of Brian Goodwin's Gladius Silva.
Well, good to know. And these ice levels are so highly detailed. So cool.
Hi, Jake again.
And Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Jake. This area is one of the only areas in the game where we really let ourselves play up, sort of dressing a set in a really overtly theatrical and dramatic way. You know, this is the reveal of Brian's body was such a big moment that we kind of figured we should just go for it entirely.
It was possible to do because I think this is one of the only places in Firewatch where the direction from which the player approaches and the time of day are 100% in our control. Like, you're only ever going to see this scenario under this circumstance. You're going to walk in and sort of the scene will reveal itself from this angle, and there's no chance that the sun is going to be setting in the middle of it or whatever else. So we leaned into it.
I kind of ran with that with the music as well. As you know, if you've listened to all the music in this game, I really didn't lean on big string swells or anything like that. It's very kind of small scale recordings, you know, guitar and electric piano and bass and things like that. I decided to just push this as far as possible. I did one odd thing with the music, which was instead of what you'd expect, which was making the music a really minor dark key, it's actually all in major, which is typically what people associate with happier, more upbeat music, but I pushed the strings far enough that I was hoping it would sort of come around the other side and make something that's kind of, I don't know, poignant. So
it's cool. I like it.
Thanks.
Fun fact about this area, if you bring a notable Brian Goodwin possession down into this space, you can set it down next to him using the game's putback system.
One Russian streamer found that live on, like, the day the game came out.
Yeah, by accident. And it was,
well, that's badass.
That guy's stream blew up.
Yep.
I came up with this character, Delilah, and then just thrust her upon you and said, you are going to be Delilah in this video game. I liked working with you on The Walking Dead. You were amazing as Katya. How did that character come to life for you?
Well, actually, I think her name was Alice at first, if you'll recall.
Oh, no, it was.
You remember that?
It was Alice. Oh, no. What a hilarious thing to have to remember.
I remember getting that email from you about, hey, I'm writing a game, female protagonist, are you in? And I didn't
Female protagonist. That's all she gets the information for.
Whatever you're working on, whenever, throughout history and time, I will want to be a part of. But then you sent me the sides for Alice, and I got to read about this beautifully flawed but fun and self-engaged woman. And it's one of the things I love about the characters that you write is that they're actual people. They're not tropes. They're not stereotypes of anything. They're full-bodied people. And so I got to dig a little bit into my past and what's made me tick and what would make me take a job in the middle of nowhere and shamelessly flirt with somebody over a walkie-talkie and build it from there. The wonderful thing about Delilah is that there's actually a lot of me in her, meaning, like, I grew up in Idaho. There are a lot of mountains and wildfires and solitude.
This is like her ultimate role she'd always wanted to play.
I moved to Los Angeles, and now I'm surrounded by concrete, but I kind of started out in the same place.
I was integrating so much of the way you speak and the way you, like, tell a joke or laugh just back into the character. Do you feel like you had to create that stuff to be Delilah? Or were you making a concerted effort to sort of, like, become her?
I think it's a little bit of both. I am a bit of a smartass, and so a lot of the stuff that you wrote really lent itself to that. But, you know, as we started getting into the puns, you know, wouldn't you liken to know and stuff like that, I was able to kind of sit back into this woman who just doesn't give a shit. You know, she's out there in the middle of nowhere and having fun because this is her life. And so having that freedom to just be an idiot, it was really freeing. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
There you are. I've been worrying my ass off.
You need to call search and rescue.
What?
There's a body in the cave. It's Brian Goodwin.
Gotta be fucking kidding me. How does that... What? I don't... How?
Climbing, I think, or made to look like a climbing accident.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think that's just what it was. I mean, he was probably exploring the cave and maybe his rope gave out. But whoever locked me in there probably didn't even know about him.
I don't see how
Sorry,
that's not
Delilah.
seeable.
I'm so sorry.
He'd be alive if I had told someone he was out here. I don't know where he'd be, but I can assure you it would not be rotting at the bottom of that cave. There's nothing to say. Hike back. I think we're leaving tomorrow anyway.
Okay. Ooh, day 79. Oh, for some weird reason, that's what I was juggling.
You see that plane?
No, I was just busy packing up.
Well, there's gonna be a lot more. The service says this thing is 2% contained.
Well, is this the June fire or the site fire? Or...
Well, the two fires merged into one unmitigated disaster. They're renaming it after my lookout. You about packed up?
Shouldn't we talk for a sec, you know, about things?
About what?
Man, he should not be breathing that in at all.
About how all this stuff is connected. The surveillance, the Goodwins, Brian's death.
Look, I don't know what to say, okay? It's like the universe cooked up the cruelest thing to have happen. Does it connect to everything else? I don't know. I don't know if I even want to.
Of course you do. There's got to be a reason.
Does there?
Maybe. Maybe not. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Well, fuck. For starters, I guess you could find the source of that signal.
Holy crap. Yeah. Oh my god.
We don't know what it is. It could be nothing.
Yeah, it could also be whoever was listening to us. Whoever made the tape.
Okay. Yeah, look, you should pack up everything you need in case we get the call and you can't come back.
All right, look, if something happens...
I'll remember you.
What? That's it? You're gonna give up on me that easily?
Oh, well, that's nice.
so it's gotta be coming from somewhere over here.
What's your status?
Trying not to
I
die.
think I'm getting close.
Alright, well, I just got word that they are coming to get us. My place.
You sound worried.
No, it's just...
Brian?
I'll coordinate with the evac team and let you know when to head towards the tram. It's north. Far. Past where you found that cut back in May. There's an emergency tram out there that will let you hike to the rendezvous point at my lookout.
Sweet.
Someone left a rope for me to climb up. I'm down near the lake.
How do you know it's for you?
There's a tracking collar tied to it. Someone was leading me here. And there's another tape.
Beaten hook.
Yeah, hi, Henry. Hey, you better find this before it burns up. We've been causing each other a lot of headaches. Now I gotta go stake out a site that's as fit for living as the one you're about to find. You'll get it when you see it. You can't blame me for keeping an eye on you. Not after bumping into you back in May. Down by the cave, for fuck's sake. I've been up here for 3 years. I kept it cozy. Winters are harsh as hell, and I ran out of books. But I got that antenna rigged up, and Delilah, she's a record you don't gotta flip. I kinda get why Brian took to her. About a week ago, I stopped worrying about you finding anything out, and that's right when everything went shithouse with you two. You guys don't know anything about having kids. All right, nobody knows nothing. It ain't Andy and Opie walking down a lake to fish every afternoon. It ain't Mayberry. But you gotta know I didn't kill him. All right, we were climbing. I was teaching him. Brian was uneducated in the way to do anything. He just fucking didn't sink his anchor the right way. You know, I thought about going back
And that's quite the
having to answer
talker.
questions and having to get him put in the ground, and I didn't see the point. Don't come looking for me. Sorry about your wife.
We found the surveillance operation.
Okay, what does that mean? What is it?
It was Ned Goodwin. He was the one listening to us. Just him.
Ned Goodwin. He made the tape?
Yeah. He's gone. He's deeper into the Shoshone. He doesn't want anyone to know he's out here.
Because he killed Brian. Because he killed his fucking son. You need to get back here. They say the helicopters are making rounds.
Okay.
wonder if I can go back through Thunder Canyon. Oh, that's so funny. It shows you. Oh, screw it. At this point, I'm already going this far. So much smoke. It's not good. And stupid rock.
I know I should be relieved. Relieved that there's no evidence of us starting that fire. Relieved that we're not crazy. That there wasn't some conspiracy. But I'm not. He was a sweet kid. With a shitty father who hid out here like a coward after dumping him in a hole.
Lila, I think it was an accident. I don't think Ned meant to kill him.
We don't know what happened for sure.
Ned wanted his son to be able to climb and do the sorts of things he did himself, but Brian couldn't.
And how'd that turn out, Henry? I'm sorry. God, it would have been so easy to tell the truth and have him sent home. I can't stop thinking about it.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Yes, I did. And now I've got to decide whether I tell people that he's down there so they can retrieve the body or not. And if I do, I'm going to be asked about Ned Goodwin.
Dee?
Oh, fuck.
Is that a helicopter?
Yeah, hold on. Hey. No, there's one more. Yes, here, yeah. Yeah, he's coming. Okay, 1 second. Hey, they're here, but they're making rounds. They'll come back. I think I'm gonna go with them.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah?
I mean, it's dangerous here, and if anything were to happen, then that would be on me, so.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you sure that's okay?
I said it was.
Alright, I should go.
Have a safe flight.
Alright, have a safe hike.
Oh, there it is. Alright, cool. All north from here. Away we go. Really? Oh, fuck.
Holy shit. It's Mac.
I know.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on? Trying to get myself out of this fucking labyrinth of a fucking river. Alright. I guess it would be a river. A stream. Streaming on a stream. Dude, Bonnie, what's up, dude? Been seeing you in a while. I'm assuming you've been up to good modding things. Oh, thank goodness, I'm on the right track. Yeah, you literally popped in like at the very end of the game. Which still was a good ending. Like, I really like this game for like story-wise. It's very mystery-based, which tends to be my jam sometimes. As long as I keep running this way, we should be fine. All rainbows and sunshine. I swear, this reminds me a lot of like The Last of Us, the way the music cues in towards the end. There we go. We already got that one. Because I have been up here before. Okay.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Sean.
I don't know about you, but I get a lot of email and tweets about people really, really wanting Delilah to be in the tower at the end of the
I
game
hear
here.
about that a fair amount myself.
And I am really, really happy with the performances of Henry, or Rich and Sissy, here in the canyon when she says there's a helicopter here and it's ready for me to get on it.
Yeah, me too.
And if you're wondering why we ended up making the creative decision we made, there's sort of two things that I know Chris and I spoke a lot about. One is Delilah is simply not the type of person to wait for anyone. And Chris did a really good job with me just sort of painting a portrait of her emotional state and what it would feel like to be waiting for this guy to show up after a really, really tragic thing has happened, and then just sit in this tower and wait for a helicopter, thinking about this dead kid and how messed up their entire summer had been.
Yeah.
And the
you
dread
wrote,
of
you wrote
having
that
to do
almost directly.
Yeah, and that's what I did. You basically painted that portrait for me, and I went, oh, well, she's just gonna say that.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here in the shadow of a dead boy.
Mm-hmm.
And I went yep, all right, thank you for giving me that. And then alternatively, Henry's wanted nothing more than to be made to feel better over the past
Pretty much, that's all he's been trying to get
definitely
to.
the past 5, definitely the past 1. And that feeling of disappointment that you feel when and she's not there, even though you ask her to stay, and you can hear how badly Henry wants her to stay in Rich's performance, in his voice. I wanted that feeling to go into the player, that level of disappointment, and then for some players to think, man, but how disappointed would I really be if I was him? And obviously we can't make you think that stuff, but if we do, then I feel like the story has been successful in communicating the emotional payload that it set out to.
Hi, it's Ollie again.
And it's Jane again.
So this is Delilah's Tower. Funny fact, this was one of the first things we concepted and built in the game. We always knew the game would end with Delilah's Tower, and I think we all liked the idea of the title screen being Delilah's Tower. So that was one of the first things we did as a sort of test. But it wasn't until closer to the end of the game that we really thought about what Delilah's Tower would be like on the inside.
Yeah. And by that point, we kind of, we were very well acquainted with
Towers.
Wow.
Towers. And so I don't even think we
I have
had
powers.
a big concept about it. We just kind of went in and went through all our references, and we just decided, we should have this kind of ceiling and
we should
different
just change
cabinets.
it. Yeah, it should feel familiar, but sort of different enough that it feels like a Delilah's place. And we thought about all the things that the player learns about Delilah across the course
that
of
was
the game,
really fun.
and try and communicate that through things, but also maybe some things that you don't know about Delilah that are interesting to find out.
I remember when I was just making props for her space, that I would ask Sean, hey, if she were just eating a snack, what would it be? And Sean would just say, peanut butter and apples. And I would just ask Sean, what kind of slippers would she have? And, we would just have to think about, through the props, tell sort of a little bit of,
Also, the behind the mask of the firefighter who collects Henry at the end is actually Henry's own face, because it's the only face that we had modeled in the game. I really like the idea that potentially
It's hella funny. The only fucking face they had was the one model in the fucking game.
Twist.
Was Henry's face. I like how they threw this in here. Like, the developers really love Kirkland, so it's mainland.
Henry died in the cave.
Hella funny.
He rescues himself.
That's so good.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Sean.
It's the last scene of the game.
Yeah, this was this took some getting.
This was very difficult.
Yeah.
Something you would say in story meetings all the time,
Hey, it's Teddy.
which was,
Rough
I was
Rider.
really afraid of writing the scene, and I was really afraid of the end of the game, which I had never experienced in my career.
Yeah, we went up to the wire.
You would say to me, "Oh, you're gonna feel it out when you write."
That's where the
You would
fucking
say
sign
that,
for pork
you're sort
pond
of
went.
like, and you'll figure that out on the page when you're working. When we were trying to really talk about the beats of this last scene, and I would go like, "Okay." And some direction that you gave me that was really valuable was just the muted nature of this scene, because everything that has been said has already been said, and there's sort of nothing left to do. And you get to a point in your life where that is true often, but movies and games never really explore what that space feels like.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to choose to do that, to write the not exciting thing, which I think is why the helicopter shows up, to be perfectly honest.
Yep.
We needed something to counterbalance this feeling of well, the story is just over.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get to see each other because that's just the way it goes. So how do we make this feel big and final? We better pay for a big helicopter and a guy's hand you grab and everything. And then to tie it all
Sweet.
together, we decided very, very down to the wire that you were going to write music over the top of the whole thing. And I think it totally works.
Yeah.
But what was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was very stressful because writing that music was literally in the last couple of days before content lock. But I think much like the writing of the scene, it just I think I had just sort of absorbed so much of everything that had led up to that point that it actually ended up being an easier process than I thought it was going to be. As for the ending as a whole, I mean, we talked through how this game was going to end so many times, and on a literal plot
Sweet.
level, it actually changed a fair amount in terms of how the mystery gets resolved. All the sort of background information that's feeding into Henry and Delilah's last conversation. And I remember something that was really important to me was as much as possible, I would like the ambiguity and the sort of meaning of the ending and of all the events that have transpired to be in not in the literal what happened, but in the why did any of it happen? Just in the sense of why does anything happen? I remember that was something that I thought was really potentially powerful about the way this game concluded.
That's kind of cool. It's like a real aspect.
Yeah, I don't know if that means anything to anyone else, but I think that you got that in the writing, and it was very.
Oh no.
With how it ended up, even though it was a
Well,
very
thanks
Twigged
so
out.
much for you through the entire process, 2-year process of trying to write this game, were just
There we
a
go.
constant
Ooh, glitch.
checkpoint for me. Because when you're writing, it's a very lonely process. It's very, very lonely. And to drift off of the tone of the thing you're working on with the other people is very seductive. Hey guys, we're doing this totally new, different thing. This scene happens a totally different way now because I had a brilliant idea last night. Yeah, that is a very easy thing to do, but I always felt like you were able to ground me back to where we were headed in a way that I found to be very comforting. And I thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Glad to help. It worked out. I'm really happy with what we did with the ending. For something that so many people have very mixed feelings about, I almost am even more pleased we did it the way we did it.
Same. Exact same.
Yeah.
Must be something I'm forgetting in order to trigger it.
Hello? Is anybody there?
Hi. Yeah, it's me. I'm back at the staging area near the trailhead. I think I see your truck.
Red? Colorado plates?
Yeah. It's a piece of shit.
It's better than whatever you drive. What do you drive?
Heh, Hyundai.
A piece of shit.
Well, there you go.
Although I think there's a raccoon living in yours.
Make sure he's comfy, I guess.
That's my friend,
Shouldn't take
alright?
long for the helicopter to reach you.
Okay.
There's a debrief in a situation like this. Lots of questions.
Ah, shit. So, taking stock, we found out an old lookout killed his only son and decided to become a lonely hermit.
Crazy.
And we prevented one fire?
basically started another.
Okay,
Crazy.
So that's a wash.
I'll have to figure out what I'm doing every summer from now on that isn't this.
You're not coming back?
No. And you'll have to... I don't know.
Bin chaos.
Yeah,
YouTube
me
gaming
neither.
stripped my mod
I
powers.
don't know what's
I think
next.
your text-to-speech just broke.
Tell you what.
Damn
don't
piece
you
of
choose
shit
for me
truck.
and I'll choose
Oh,
for you?
no, it seems like it's working now. I can actually hear it.
Right.
But that sucks.
Maybe.
Why do they strip your mod powers? Because I've been hearing a lot of people, like, been not
Maybe
too... Everyone's been
really
saying, like, go to
go
Switch,
back to Boulder
to Twitch.
and figure it out down there.
They say it's a lot easier. It's a lot more gaming friendly.
Just a thought.
You don't want me down there.
Well, I just asked you.
Look, I've got some things to do in Casper, and maybe I'll head south sometime after that. I could come by, sure.
Okay.
Well, that is crazy.
So, what about
Text to speech, like, all came in at, like, once, and they were all, like, 3 minutes apart.
And then you can figure it out. Maybe put that typewriter to good use. Give me a sexy accent or something if you write about this.
Fucking crazy girl.
Yeah.
You gotta go see her.
Yeah. Sure.
Henry,
No problem. No, like, you fucking know what's going on.
memories behind you.
YouTube
They're
had an
still
update
right
and a
there
lot
in
of
front
shit broke.
Oh! Okay, you know what? Then that makes a lot of sense because a lot of my streams have been glitching, and I thought it was the PlayStation Pro
When I
in
get
the
back,
transcribe
I'll
over because certain games do, certain games don't. And it's probably just the compatibility with the update that they did with the site and with the
We
compatibility of
found
the
a
other things.
workaround though.
Yeah.
My Aunt Judy called
How'd
it
that
a
workaround
pause
work?
in
I
the
mean, I
hallway
found
of
one that
time.
worked decent for, like, streaming.
Did your Aunt Judy smoke a lot of pot?
Yeah?
Well, you should
But,
try
like,
taking these too.
I mean, it just really depends, you know?
There's the helicopter.
They'll land back where you hiked up. Good luck, Henry.
Bye, Delilah.
I mean it. Good luck.
Yeah.
Bye, Hank.
Also, I've noticed that they do not like fucking No Man's Sky. Like, I keep recording stuff, and this kind of bugged the shit out of me, because it uploaded yesterday for like an hour and 36 seconds or something like that, and then I went on today, it was like 5 minutes, and I was like, what the fuck? I know it was on longer than that, and I've had other recordings where it wasn't, so it's like, it's really buggy right now. It's good to know, though, because it puts a lot of my, I guess, my nerves to rest. Ooh.
I have to watch on vanilla YouTube and my chat cannot be popped out.
Hi, it's James again.
I
Hey,
have
it's
my
Jake. And I'm
powers
going to
that
talk
way.
about the
Oh
secret
no!
alternate ending to Firewatch, which, if for anyone who isn't aware of
Oh,
this,
you fuckers!
if you
You
do know
fuckers!
after the final
I thought it
conversation with
fucked up
Delilah,
for a second. The
then
alternate
Firewatch
ending is
will
you just get the
be
cassette and you
without
get ditched.
and that is fully supported with its own animation content. And
That is so funny.
if I remember correctly,
That is so funny. I'm so
essentially a
glad I
request
picked this
from
fucking like a different area
I
of
think
like
that Sean
freaking
and Chris and
running
I
the
all
game.
wanted it to happen. Once we realized the helicopter pilot was there, given that all of Firewatch is sort of, or not all of it, but quite a lot of Firewatch is predicated on the idea that if you don't do anything, that inaction
It's
is
not
action.
just
Like if
you,
you let a
man.
conversation time out,
Don't worry.
it just
Yeah, it's
times
good
out.
to know because I also
It
noticed
seems
that like the
ridiculous that a
comments
helicopter
like
pilot would wait
don't
for a
like
crazy
I had to
person
like
for
back out of
small.
my stream
So,
and then go right
it's
back
like
into it
fun.
in order to
fun
have
and
up to date
accurate
comments
Easter
because
egg
sometimes, you know, it's like
to
I
let
would
it
see the
just totally
comments
abandon you.
before I
like-
would hear
I
them
don't
in my
know.
text to
My
speech, so I'd look
favorite
over
ending
and I
of
could be able to
Firewatch is
answer
the
like
one
on
where the
par
helicopter
when I would
pilot
hear
flies
it, so it
away and
would
the player
play
races
feedback
their
just
camera at the
perfectly.
last second and snaps a picture
But
of the
now I
helicopter
notice like it's
behind,
vice versa.
because the
Like all of a
story
sudden you do this
in
stuff, and then all of a sudden you like hear and you're like, dude, what the fuck? That's hella delayed.
The Henry that gets left behind, like, is he burned alive? Does he go off and run into the woods and become
I don't know, YouTubes. You're actually making the decision to switch to Twitch kind of easier.
When you understand the systems, because like building that.
But knowing Google, I'm sure they'll fucking fix it. But that sucks. Your modding powers got stripped away because of it.
So it just slipped in like half a day near the very end.
Also, a game development trick that everyone should learn is that if it's the very last thing that happens in the game, it can be as crazy as you want because that game is unloading itself the moment it's done. Who cares what mess that thing leaves behind? Your game is erased immediately afterwards. So just go nuts.
I'm very pleased we did that.
Yeah, same. That's the end of the Firewatch audio tour. Thank you very much for playing along and listening to all this stuff. Yeah. Thank you.
But what is Firewatch?
T-Rex.
We did it. That was the whole thing just now.
I can't join anyone on Twitch.
Really? Why? Because like one of the cool things that I got for like being an Amazon Prime member is like the free Twitch Prime thing whenever they have synced up.
Vista is not supported by Twitch.
Oh, bummer, dude. I totally understand that. Like, I unfortunately just switched from Vista because nothing's being supported by it nowadays. Like, Google totally went away from like fucking like plugins and went directly to like just like their own like little extension things. Like, so it's like Flash is like built into it and shit like that. So it's like it wasn't able to like run it on my old Vista. So I had to buy Windows 8.1, which wasn't too bad. You know, made the transition, made sense really quick. Upgraded some RAM, which I'm contemplating on upgrading the CPU inside the computer. Just so I can edit 4K videos, because unfortunately my CPU bugs out every single time it gets close to like wanting to like run anything past that. I mean, it will transcribe, no problem, but recording it, and I want to start doing that, being able to edit and that quality, it'd be really cool. But on the plus part, this game is done. It's done, son. Definitely pretty happy about that. And I definitely still have enough energy to kind of like start doing something different because I don't know, I was kind of getting a little tired, then I got my second win right when you logged on, Bonnie. I was like, oh yeah, got my stride back. The only bummer part is I have a more baritone voice now. Hey, the one charming thing of being sick is your voice sounds all raspy and shit. Should record an album. Probably sound pretty cool. But freaking, I'll be back on in just a second. I'm probably gonna like grab something to drink really quick, like water, which would be nice. And then maybe I'll start Uncharted. Maybe, because I need to kind of finish that game. And then I was thinking, since they released like the new what was it, Fallout update patch, I'm thinking maybe I might go to Fallout again. Just for the simple reason is I noticed some of the view counts that I got on like the Survival of the West video that I made, which is pretty funny. I ended up making this character a long time ago of Kanye West, like a little older, a little scruffier, in fucking Fallout, because Cogsworth will call you Mr. West. So I thought it was fucking ironically hilarious when I came up with that idea, and then all of a sudden I found out Cogsworth call you that. I was like, oh my gosh, I totally need to save this and stream this one day. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll just like check out the load times, and I booted in that character, and like I still get hella view counts from that. So I was kind of thinking, I'm like, maybe I should like freaking like kind of see if I can like keep running with that, like at least until I get Final Fantasy 15, because I have a feeling that's going to take up a lot of my time. It really is. No Man's Sky I might come back to here and there. It just depends on if YouTube plays friendly with the upload. If not, then unfortunately I'm probably not gonna like play it for a second, just because it's not. I don't know. With what I'm doing, I'm trying to like. I deleted my
You
file.
need another troll. That really boosted your view count.
It really did. You know what though? Like I had another like similar like really good one without like as many crazy trolls because now I've gotten really good at like spotting trolls and having people as the trolls watch. Um but like it was hella funny. Like I was playing everyone's gone to the Rapture and like freaking Dark by Design was there. Hella people I'd known like throughout streaming the last like 4 or 5 months like showed up, and then all of a sudden the view count went up to like fucking like I was literally in a fucking chat room with like almost like 45 people I think or something like 46. Dash was like fucking smiles ear to ear like digitally speaking, and like freaking like I gained like hella subscribers from that video. I still do actually. That's where I gained like almost like 20 in one night. Which was kind of funny because like there was a few trolls that came in and people were like troll. We were like fucking like executing like just like pretty much just off of their head moments. It was kind of funny, but nothing is like crazy awesome as like the fucking Duke Nukem. That's a classic, it's like classic cola. This never gets old. But you know, a lot of fun times. Like I've been gaining a lot of momentum. Same thing with Dash. I'm really happy to see like he's getting up there. He's like 72, 74 subscribers now. So it's good to see that. And everyone's growing in their own aspects, what they want.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
4-5. Congrats.
Yeah, it was really cool because like I looked over and I was like, dear gosh, that's probably gonna be the most I've ever seen in one fucking point in time. Because you know how it is, that you stream and it goes up, goes down. And that video, when I ended it, ended up with 700 views. I was like, holy shit! Like I was like totally surprised, but it went into a lot of combinations of why. Because I guess the UK server for the PSN went down. And people in the UK couldn't download. Everyone had gone to the Rapture for free, so they said, "Fuck it, we'll just watch it." And like, so a lot of people ended up watching, asking questions. It also had been like around the same time that I think the Pro came out. So like, I had Pro, and everyone was kind of asking questions about that too. So it was very an effective video, and it actually climbed up on the charts.
I have no content and like over 40 subs.
That's awesome. That's so fucking awesome. You're just well known, Bonnie. That's all. People know the monster. But I definitely recommend this game to anyone who's never played it. I mean, for people watching this video later on, the cool thing was I actually did a really chill like video about like touching bases with people about the PlayStation Pro and streaming and trying to find fixes, which I might have to update since now I'm starting to notice that YouTube has issues. So it's probably a combination with both. But I was just giving feedback for, I guess, people to work with this YouTube update. Now, thinking about it retrospectively, I just never mentioned YouTube. I just blamed it all on, like, PlayStation Pro. I'm sorry, Sony. I dishonored your system. I hope they can forgive me for that. They're like, fuck that asshole. Now he gets the update a day late. Yeah, that's what you get. And I'm like, oh. Okay, I think I can wait a day.
It's from my days as modding, I think.
Yeah, probably. Like I can imagine. You seem like you do a really good job at what you do. You seem very passionate about it. So it's very cool. But give me a second, Bonnie. I'm gonna like log off for maybe like 5-10 minutes, and I'll probably be on for like maybe another. I didn't realize it was almost 4 in the morning. Maybe for another hour or so. Because I mean I have been up since in the morning. Since yesterday.
It's a YouTube thing.
Yeah. Freaking YouTube. Fucking YouTube. Anyways, I will see you in a second, man. Thanks for popping in, though. If like you end up like going to your or somehow they give you back all your powers. Like the superhero of YouTube. You've been stripped. It's like any kind of like freaking good like comic book. They'll have a superhero, and then they'll strip him of his powers. And it's all about him getting his powers back. It's like the most typical thing. YouTube is taking away your superpowers.
Catch you in a few, Mac.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'll catch you later.